What's up, everybody? It is April 12th, 2020, day 24 of the California stay-at-home order. This is Danny Eley Live. Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready to do this? Let's do it!
Hello, girls and boys. Ready? Let's begin.
Oh, I probably just killed all y'all's ears with that. I don't know. I'm sorry if I did. I'm sorry if that intro sounded really bad. I may have set it up wrong, but that's all right. Hey, it is late, but that's normal for us, right? The show should be finishing right now, but we're just starting. That's okay, though. Hope you guys are having a wonderful Resurrection Sunday. I am excited about tonight's show. I have a couple. So I've had my first guest last Sunday. I had my first in-studio guest on Thursday, and now this is my first couple guest on Danny Eley Live. And if you haven't been able to tell by the title, we are going to be talking about reaching nomadic people. And you're going, what is nomadic people? I don't even know what that means. Well, that's great because we're going to talk about it. Really quick to the chat, I want to say what's up to Anahi in from Dallas, Fort Worth area. What's up, Vincent? I see you on Instagram. What's up, Superman Scott? I see you on Instagram. If you are here, make sure to put a 1 in the chat. Put a 1 in the chat so I can see you. All right? Without further ado, I want to introduce to you guys my guest tonight. We met back in the summer of 2019, I believe. And they're a great couple, Bryan and Allie Nieto. Did I say it right?
Yeah, that's close enough. Nieto's good.
All right. I was trying to channel my inner Russian there, even though it's not a Russian name, right?
No, it's Spanish, Mexican.
You threw me off when you said it sounds Russian.
Well, I learned how to say it by saying the niet, like no, I guess.
Yeah. Nieto. That's awesome. So you guys are right now in Texas.
Yes, sir. We are in Arlington right now.
Arlington, Texas. Isn't that where King of the Hill's from?
Who?
King of the Hill? Little cartoon?
You know, we have no idea.
No, I think it's Amarillo, which I don't think
Amarillo.
Is Amarillo a real place?
Amarillo, yeah.
Yeah, Amarillo. I don't know. It's funny. One of my friends from she's from Houston, and she when she moved to California, she always calls. Let me fix something here. Noticed a problem. No, we're good. Okay. She's moved from Texas, and she calls Irvine, California, Irving. And she cannot say Irvine. I'm like, it's Irvine. She's like, no, it's Irving. I'm like, no, that's Texas. You're in California. This is Irving. What's up, Elisha? My sister-in-law, Elisha, is here. Thank you for joining us on Instagram. We're on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. We got quite a few people live right now with us.
All right.
That's awesome.
So we are talking tonight about nomadic people.
Yeah.
And reaching nomadic people. Now, can you guys give me a little bit of history on why nomadic people is so important to you?
Well, let's make one thing clear first. We are the nomadic couple, but a lot of our people from our background are not any longer. They don't travel very much. It's just a lifestyle that we kind of fell into.
Yeah.
But
my lifestyle comes from being in the world for 23 years. That's how we used to have the saying of always keep a bag packed when you leave, because you never know if you're going to be gone for a day, 2 days, a week, a month. So that's where my nomadic history comes from. Now my wife, the other hand, she comes from a Well, I'll go ahead and let you tell it.
Well, I am Gypsy. That's 100% true. But, yes, back in the day, I'm sure they traveled and I'm sure they've come from different countries. But there are a lot of things that are no longer true. What's one thing for sure is that a lot of people, just think, oh, gypsies just travel, they're fortune tellers, they do a lot of bad things like stealing, lying, cheating. And it's not really true. A lot of them they're Christian today. I know
Amen.
more than a handful of gypsies who are pastors, and their passions now.
Her family.
Yes, we do have big families, and it'll continue to grow. But a lot of people have a lot of misconceptions, and they stereotype us. And one of the things that kind of touches on our heart is we want our people not to be afraid of who they are. We don't want them to be afraid to come out and say, you know what? Yes, I am Gypsy, but I serve the Lord. That's
Man.
who I am first. So that's my bloodline. Is I'm a Christian and I serve God.
Amen.
That's good. So, okay, yes, I want to get into that if we can. I want to talk about kind of the misconceptions of gypsies, because a lot of people that I've talked to, Allie, you and I have spoke before. When I was in Macedonia, 2003, 17 years ago. There's a large gypsy concentration in the capital city of Skopje, and we did an outreach, a health outreach, and this really big. We had a salvation message. We had games for the kids. We even had like costume people, like a giant Lion King walking around, like taking pictures of the kids, painting faces, the whole thing. And my job there was to give juice. That was my job. They walk in, the very first thing they got was a cup of juice. And so, like, I loved it. Like, I was like, this is so amazing. But it was to a gypsy population. And from what I understood at the time, I don't know if this is still the case, but that was the largest concentration of gypsies in Europe, was there in that area right there. And so at that time, I was kind of first time exposed to gypsies, other than my misconceptions were the Hunchback of Notre Dame. Or Notre Dame. Let me say it appropriately. Hunchback of Notre Dame, right? And the girl that the hunchback falls in love with, right? And then of course you see it in the pop culture. You see the madam, dressed in the scarf with the rings and the crystal ball, and she's going to tell you your future, and it's believed that she's a gypsy, right?
Mm-hmm.
So those are, I feel like when people say when they hear the word gypsy, they think automatically that is, non-existent in today's world, or that it's maybe like folklore, right? Like a kind of a story, it's something part of storytelling, but it's a real group of people.
It's not just a group. It's a culture. It's a nationality. Our people are very together. I mean, we may be split apart even by seas, but we also take care of each other. And there's a misconception that we don't like outsiders, but that's not true. The thing is that we've had a bad history. And, as long as, you're honest with us, if an outsider's honest with us, we're the same way. We're very accepting people. It's just that a lot of people do not accept us because of what they automatically think that we are.
Just because there's been so much, like, just...
I could testify to that.
Yeah.
Because, I when we got together, our age difference is quite a bit. People may frown on it, but I'm also, Native American and Mexican. So, coming into a gypsy family, I could tell you this: they are very close knit. They are very loving, very open. you know, they will open their doors up, and they're a great bunch of people. It's full of love. They're spiritual. They're incredible people. It's an incredible culture.
That's awesome.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Yeah, and so then there's the is it the I don't even think it's American TV. I think it's British TV, right? That did the American Gypsy show.
Oh my God, that gives us such a bad name. We're absolutely nothing like that.
Right. Like it's like that's like you take any family like it really feels like it's just they took like some like redneck family out in Kentucky and called them gypsies and like
You know what? I was talking, I think, to my parents about this, and what they explained to me is that basically there's different types of gypsies. And so everybody has their own little thing in their community. I mean, I'm from California, obviously. So the California Romanian gypsies that I'm a part of are going to be completely different than, let's say, the gypsies that are from Texas or the gypsies from, Minnesota. They're completely different. Everybody has their own little things. And like the background that I come from, the gypsies that I come from, they're Pentecostal.
yeah.
And you're not going to find that in every single gypsy, basically, tribe that you go through. But, in ours, we're not like those where we put money and gold ahead of, being flashy and being that way. We are very in church. I mean, I remember growing up and probably 3-4 days out of the week, we were in church.
This speaks to the complete misconception of when people think of the term gypsy, right?
Yeah,
And it's really I feel like it's really like kind of culture has suggested it and everybody just goes, oh, okay. I think there's a lot of things that are that way. So talk to me about like the you just said the tribe, right? And tribe is one of those really really popular words to use these days. Like I feel like tribe is like a very trendy word. But my wife is from a tribe, from an African tribe, and like in the tribe, like they have their own language, they have their own customs. One of the strangest customs they have, which I think is, there's probably a reason for it, and I'm probably going to get in trouble for sharing this, but they have this because I said it's strange. But they have this thing where when I went to ask permission to marry my wife, I went into my father-in-law's home, and before I could speak in his home, he had to he brought me a plate with some money on it. And I was like, okay.
Well, that's interesting.
All right. And he gave me money, and then he went back, and he came back with another plate and more cash on it, and he gave it to my dad. My dad was with me. And my dad looks at me and he's like, okay. And he said, this is a tradition that we have in our tribe. If you want somebody to speak into your house, then you have to buy their mouth. I was like, okay. And so like before they could speak at your house, they got to pay you. So it's a tradition. Of course there's language. There's language in the tribe, but there's also a larger cultural language. So there's different things in Romanian Californian gypsies. Do you guys have like language and all that type of things?
So my generation is kind of like the generation where the language is kind of dying. My parents,
Maybe for you.
yeah. Well, my parents, I know my dad speaks it still. The only customs that I really remember growing up and really remember is actually, when somebody would come over, they would always bring a little gift.
Okay.
Whether it was, some cookies or just something sweet, usually for the kids. This was always when we were having a Bible study or we were getting together for like a prayer group meeting type of thing where we would sing together, pray, read out of the Bible. But there's not really, I mean, there's nothing really crazy like that
Right.
that happens in ours. I mean, the only thing that I can remember is when Bryan and I got married, my brother sold my shoes and said, hey, now you need to pay for the shoes to make sure that you have a happy marriage life. And so we're like,
Yeah.
so we're like, okay, how much do you want? And my husband and my brother went back and forth.
We bartered pretty good.
But that's about as crazy as it's gotten, and it was all in good fun. I think maybe back when like my elders and my parents, when they lived in Romania, it was probably different. I don't know. But when they came to the States, they adopted. They adapted to how things were here, and they understood, that things were going to be different, and they are with every single generation that passes by. They're becoming more accepting, and they're becoming open to new ideas. But they're still trying to remember where they came from, and they're humble from where they came from.
I think that
isn't a bad thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's awesome. Like, truthfully, like, people have always asked me, like, heritage wise, what am I? And I'm like, I don't know. So I got frustrated by not having an answer. And one time I went to my grandparents and I told my grandparents, I was like, hey, what are we? My parents don't know. My grandparents don't know. My grandparents are literally like, well, our last name is French, but we're not French. I'm like, okay. my last name is English, but I know we're only like a tiny bit English. Like, it's like, okay. So I was like really like, Grandma, like, let's do the 23andMe. Like, let's figure out what we are. And she's like, oh no, I don't want that information out there. So let me say really quick to the chats. My wife is throwing up her tribe pride. She's saying Kalabari. That's her tribe, her Nigerian tribe from Obonema, Nigeria. Did I say that good, babe? Did I say that good? Did I say that with the correct accent for you today? She's going to say I sound Indian. And then I want to say what's up to Jubike and watching on Instagram. What's up, rated PG-7? Okay. What's up, Nichelle Emerson? You guys, I think she's a Praise Chapel I think that's Praise Chapel peep.
Hello, Praise Chapel.
So, if you guys have questions, you want to talk about nomadic tribes, and Bryan, we got to get into your background too. If we want to talk about nomadic tribes, you have questions about Romanian, Californian gypsies. I like how specific that is.
Yes.
Go ahead and put them in the chat. We can see you on YouTube. We can see you on Instagram. We can see you on Twitter, and we can see you here on Facebook. So make sure to ask some questions. Join in the conversation. That's what's great about it being a live show.
Oh, I can see the chat, folks.
So Bryan.
Yes, sir.
Talk to me. So you are not Californian, Romanian gypsy.
No.
Well, you are.
I am Californian, though.
You are Californian because this is what I claimed. Okay, so when I married my wife, I said that as the Bible says, the two become one. So now I am half Nigerian, right?
Yeah. I could. You know what? I have adopted the Romanian gypsy culture, especially
Oh my gosh.
especially the food culture. Let me tell you, you want some good food? Meat. You gotta try the meat, brother.
Meech.
Oh no. Well, when we got married, within a couple of months, Bryan gained like 40 pounds.
Oh wow,
Yeah,
that's a good sign.
it's good food. Okay, so as far as I know, we're Native American, we're Mexican. We kind of call ourselves mutts, U.S. mutt.
Uh-huh.
We're kind of, so yeah, that's about where my genealogy I know comes from.
My grandma once told me that we were native, and it wasn't until she passed away that we found out we weren't.
Yeah.
She's like, "Oh yeah, I think we're native." I'm like, "Okay, cool." And I promise it wasn't when I was looking for scholarships. That's not when I found out I wasn't native. Even though I did check there too. But it was my parents were actually trying to adopt some kids, and they were a group of 3 native brothers, and it's kind of crazy. This is in Oregon. My family was actually the only white family that had native children in their foster family, and so we were trying to adopt them. And they said if we had if we just had a drop of native blood, we were able to adopt them, but we didn't. We found out there's no truth to the stories my grandma would tell, and we didn't do a DNA test. We probably should have gone the extra step and done the DNA test, but they were. I mean, still, it's great because still they're in their mid-20s now. We're still in contact with them on a regular basis. So yeah, it was cool. I lived in Missouri for a while, and they were in Broken Arrow, Oklahoma, so right across the border. And so I got to see them all the time. It was really, really good. All right, so hello from Texas,
Hello.
Chris Halford, Chris Brady Halford. What's up, man? So where are you in Texas? Because our guests tonight are from Texas too. Well, not from Texas. They're from California, but they're in Texas.
We are in Arlington at the moment.
And as of Monday, tomorrow, Texas time, we'll be moving to Carrollton,
Texas.
Carrollton.
Nomad. Yes.
Because you guys are the nomadic couple.
We are the nomadic couple.
Yeah.
It's true.
But we are going to plant roots this time in Carrollton.
Yes.
For as long as God wills, that will be our roots for hopefully at least a year.
We definitely follow wherever God has told us to go, and we have had adventures. Oh my God.
Yeah, because we met last year in there's an ambulance going by. I don't know if you guys can hear it. We met last year in Elk Grove, right? Elk Grove, California?
Yeah.
That's right.
And you guys were there, and now you're in Texas.
Well, now we're in Texas.
Yeah, that is true.
And I think the year and a half before that, we were in Missouri.
Yep.
Where in Missouri?
Springfield.
We love our Missouri people too.
I lived in Joplin. I lived in Joplin for 6 months, but it was. I'm not a Midwest person. I'm a West Coast guy. I can't do the Midwest.
I love it.
I have a hard time with when everything closes at like 7 p.m.
Yeah, but Walmart's always open.
That's true. Walmart is always open, and they have everything that you need. So we got some comments. We got yo. My wife says yo. Thank you for that comment. We are one. You are now half Nigerian, Danny. So that's what she's saying. She says West Coast all the way. But what's funny is so when I started telling my friends that I was half Nigerian, I before we got married, I never had a problem showing up to church on time. I always would get there on like 15 minutes early, 20 minutes early, right? Then we got married, and all of a sudden I was always running like 15, 20 minutes behind getting to church. And so I told my friends, no, I'm half Nigerian. On Nigerian time, I'm actually 45 minutes early right now.
That's funny.
So tell me about you guys, your ministry. You guys are reaching out, and you're just in the like beginning stages of developing this, right?
Well,
Yes.
actually, since you invited us on the show, it kind of lit a fire.
We were looking for that sign from God. I mean,
It wasn't a sign. It was the lighting of the fire, because we should be. I've been saved only for maybe 4 years, and I was a alcoholic and a drug addict for, 23, 24 years. And so pretty much I just, it lit us fire to send it to actually start doing more for God. So we're gonna start with, the small ministries and reaching out right now. I know everything with the COVID and everything. So we're gonna start a little prayer group on Facebook, and we're gonna go from there.
That's awesome. This is like, I keep telling people keep talking about how bummed they are about this, but I keep saying this is like a legit, like, amazing opportunity right now. Like, when else do you have this time to spend focus on, like, doing the things that you say you never have time to do?
Amen to that. I mean, it is a bad time for everybody, but it is also an opportunity for us to preach his word, his gospel, and start getting more souls saved. And, I know as Christians, we live in fear sometimes, and, we just got to have faith and keep trusting in God that he's there. He's always there. And, everything's going to be good.
Amen. Yeah, I have I mean, through this process, I started this live show after COVID started on purpose. Like, it was like, okay, here's the time. And then also, I started a Bible study with a couple of guys that I really care about and want to see grow spiritually, and I know they're both hungry. So we're reading the Bible together, and we're spending time praying together every week. So there's that, and then just like taking I love that this is putting people in a place where they're checking in on others. Like,
yes.
I've had more phone calls from people just checking in, and I really, really appreciate that. Like, I've tried to make those phone calls. I've called people that I haven't talked to in a long time, and I've been able to connect with them too. On Instagram, Eva Joyce Taylor just said hello. So
hello.
I said Eva, but her name's Eva. I don't know why I said Eva. Why did I say Eva? Eva is one of my really good friends, and I've been talking to her a lot lately. She's how old are you, Eva? Like 6, 7? She's my forever pastor's youngest daughter, and she's a great kid. So, all right. So, how can people get a hold of you if they want more information about reaching nomadic people? If you guys, you know what, I think that you guys should start an Instagram. I know you say you don't like taking pictures, but you can start an Instagram and just do scriptures and text and that type of stuff. But you should start an Instagram called Nomadic Family. And
we're considering it. I didn't have to say this. We have been considering starting a ministry for a while, and we've had people who have, said, yes, do it. We would love to be a part of it. But for myself, I don't really go into something unless I have a confirmation from God one way or another, and I'm very stubborn about it. Like, I'm like, no, God, I want you to say this or do this to somebody. And so when you reached out to us about a ministry, it just kind of clicked. And so now we're like, oh, we need to actually, get going on this. We can't keep pushing it off.
I love it. Okay, so you got to do that, and then you got to start a TikTok. And you got to start a TikTok called Nomadic Family, and you got to document your experience and all the different cities you've lived in and the places you've lived in. And you guys already have all this content that you just told me about the other day when we were on the phone. You guys know the best places to eat everywhere you've lived. So you can go on this and you can say, hey, if you live in Tustin, California, go to this bodega. It has the best chicken. Right next door, they have the best fish tacos at Holy Moly, right?
Yeah.
You guys could get some sponsorship too, like some businesses giving you money to promote their restaurant, to build your ministry.
I don't know. we haven't really thought that big, but thank you for giving us the ideas.
I'm telling you, it's gonna be gold. Nomadic family. I love it. All right, guys. So how can people get a hold of you if they want to get a hold of you?
We have an email for now, and it's the same one that we use for prayers and everything else, and it's Nieto, Nieto, prayer@gmail.com.
There it is. So their last name is on the screen right now if you need to write it down, Nieto. Any questions? I'm looking through the chats. Let me check YouTube right now. YouTube is the one spot I haven't checked yet.
Prayer.
Yeah, and if you just want to reach out just because you need prayer, anybody is more than welcome to. We love hearing from people that need help and that love prayers. And they can reach out to us on our Facebook, as well. And it's just Allie Nieto or Bryan Nieto for now until we get our Nomadic People page going, I guess.
There you go. Well, guys, I loved having you on. I loved our conversation. I wish you all the best, and we'll just definitely stay in contact, and we'll see this ministry grow. I can't wait to see what God does through this.
Sounds good.
Me too. I can't wait. I'm excited.
All right, so you guys stay on the line because we're going to talk in a little bit. But for everybody else, thank you so much for being here. We will be back again on Tuesday night talking about leadership. I hope that you come back then. It's been a pleasure, and I want to thank my guests, Allie and Bryan, so much for being here. Like, I was really blessed by our conversation. I hope that you were too.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you.
Nimi says, love you guys. She's saying bye in the comments. We got everybody saying thank you. So thank you guys again so much. And come back here Tuesday for Danny Eley Live.